Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Horse Designs. This week's video will be on a swing card. So we're going to do this masculine themed card here, and it's a swing card. So when you open it, it swings open to your greeting inside. So let's go ahead and switch cameras and get started on our swing card. To make this card, the supplies we're going to need are we're going to do the Enjoy Life stamp set. And we're just going to use this young man bicycling and the grass. He's tough, he can cycle across grass. And we're going to use this large happy birthday from the Perennial birthday stamp set. We're going to start with a piece of Saffron Cardstock, and this measures 5.5 inches by 6 3/4 inches, and there's some special scoring and cutting. We'll get to that in a moment. We will need 2 pieces of Night of Navy that measures 2 3/4 inches by 4 inches. I did my best to keep all the measurements in quarters and halves as I possibly could. We'll need 2 pieces. I already have one is sitting in the stamp apparatus ready to go. To stamp on, and this measures 2.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then we're going to need 3 strips of designer series paper, and these measure 1 inch by 5 1/4 inches. So those are our pieces. The ink colors we're going to use today, just 2 of them, Garden Green and Night of Navy. And then we're going to bring in some Happiness Blooms Enamel dots, because they happen to have some dots in Night of Navy to bring in here. So let's shift all this aside and go ahead and get started. And I will put a template of this on the blog so that you can go to the blog to see the template. Okay, so on our 6 3/4 inch side, we're going to bring it over to the 2 3/4 inch, and with our scoring tool, I'm going to try and do this without getting my head in the camera. We are going to score it 1 1/4 inch up, and then we're going to come down and we're going to score at 1 1/4 inch down. We're going to shift it over to 4 inches and do the exact same thing. So 1 1/4 inches down, and I'm doing it twice just to give myself a good score line, and 1 1/4 inches to the top. So we now have score lines here at the top and score lines here at the bottom. We are going to rotate this 90 degrees. And at 1 1/4 inches, we're going to come in with our cutting blade, and we're going to cut at 1 1/4 inches from the edge to our first score line. So we're going to cut down to that first score line, and then we're going to pick up on the other side, and at 1 1/4 inches from there, get it lined up there, there we go, we're going to cut up to the first score line. We're going to rotate it 180 degrees and do the same thing on the other side. So rather than speed up this time, I'm just going to go ahead and talk our way through this. So at 1 1/4 inches up to the score line, and 1 1/4 inches from the top edge down to the first score line. So we now have a piece that has these short score lines here. We're going to swing it in 90 degrees and go 1 1/4 inches again, and this time we're going to cut from cut line to cut line. So if we lined it up correctly, it should start at 1 1/4 and come down to this cut line. And what we have is we have this piece here. So we're going to flip it around the other direction and do the exact same thing. So we are going to cut from our cut line to our cut line. And what we should now have is we have a piece of card that looks like, okay, you may have to take your scissors and finish it off just a bit if you don't get it right up to it. And we have a piece that looks like this. So we're going to valley fold this side and mountain fold this side. And what we have is we have a card that will swing open when we get it all done. Okay? Like I said, I will put a template, or I have a template on my blog. So if you click on the link down below, it will take you right to that. So let's go ahead and do our stamping, and then we'll put it all together. So I'm going to take one of the Whisper White pieces, stamp with our grass in Garden Green to match the Garden Green in our Designer Series paper. So we're going to ink that up, and we're going to stamp off once. And we're just going to line it up right here on the bottom edge. And we're going to ink it up again and stamp off and line it right up on the bottom edge so that we get grass going all the way across. And we'll close that up because, you know, this is a tough cyclist. He can cycle over the grass. We're going to bring on our Knight of Navy and our cyclist. And we're going to stamp him on our grass here. We're going to stay over on the right side because part of the left side here, when you open it up, so let's flip it over so you can see it. This side over here doesn't really show when the card is closed, so we're going to stay on this side of our card. So I'm going to stay over here on the right side. So I'm going to get that juiced up again. And so we're just going to put him on top of our grass. And that's all we're going to do on stamping on that piece. So I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to bring in our inside piece for our happy birthday. I already have it in the Stamparatus. So I'm just going to ink up happy birthday. And bring it over. This way it's perfectly aligned for me. And I don't have to worry about trying to get it on straight. So that's all the inking we need to do on this card. And we can start putting this together. So we're going to mount this one on one piece of Knight of Navy and mount this on the other piece of Knight of Navy. And I'm just going to use some double-sided tape here. For those of you who follow me all the time, you know that I tend to use liquid glue more often than not because it allows me some wiggle room. But today I decided to use some Snail Adhesive. So if you're new to my YouTube channel, if you'll click on the subscribe button, you'll then be able to see when I upload videos. I do upload them every Monday. And if you click on the little bell icon there, it will notify you when those videos have been uploaded. Sometimes I get them uploaded earlier than other days, but they do always end up there before the end of the day on Monday. So those are those two pieces. We're going to set those aside. We're going to bring in our swing piece here, and we're going to put our pattern paper on. You could come all the way up to this score line and wrap around. It takes a little bit more work to do it that way, so I decided that we would just do strips this time. And you could do, if you're limited on your pattern paper, you could just do your strips on either side. I'm going to go ahead and put in a strip going through my middle as well. And one more. So we need to remember when the card closes, this piece will go here, and when it swings open, our inside greeting, so to speak, is with our 3 stripes. So we're going to put that one on first. Okay. So then when we close our card, it goes outside. So then in order to put our front panel on, we actually need to adhere it from the back side, what appears to be the back side of the card. You can also create swing cards by using die cut shapes and die cutting those, just being careful not to cut through this center panel. But I wanted to show you how to do it if you did not have a die cutting machine. So while it looks like it's on the back, it's actually on the front of our card. So I'm going to give these score lines a little bit of a burnish here so that they lay flatter. And then I'm going to bring in some of the enamel dots. So it's not real blingy or shiny, so it's acceptable on a masculine card. And we're going to just take a couple of these medium ones, and we're going to put them down here. So we're going to put them in front of the bike, because, you know, remember, this is a tough bicyclist. This is a mountain biker or extreme biker, I guess you would say. So he can ride over those rocks. And if you're riding behind him, you want to be careful, because, you know, the tires on his bicycle kicked up a rock and threw it into the air. So if you're riding behind him, watch out for those rocks. And then on the inside, we're just going to go ahead and put 2 in here as well. So we're just going to put them right up here by our happy birthday. And I'll be totally honest with you, the reason I put these in here is when I made my first card to get ready for today, I had a little bit of a halo, so I just covered up my halo with an enamel dot, and there you go, no mistakes, nobody ever knows the difference. So there you go, there's a simple swing card, the simplest way you can make a swing card. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you next Monday. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.